I'm here to give you a little walkthrough of my documented life journal since the last time I posted a video, and I looked back through my YouTube channel and realized that that last time was 4 months ago, and it was the challenge for week 6. It is not that I haven't been working on the challenges each week or trying to work on them each week, but I found that I was running into a problem, so I have a confession to make. This is my original Moleskine planner journal. As you can see, it's in tatters. My confession is that this journal just wasn't working for me. I keep all of my planning and calendar on my Mac and iPad, so I didn't really need a paper planner, but I really liked the idea of what that project was going to do, the Documented Life project. So I bought myself the planner they were using and I tried to use it. The problem for me is that this paper is super, super thin, as I think anybody who's doing the project already knows. And although all of the admins and the fabulous artists that are running DLP can somehow manage to make their pages look beautiful and all nice and smooth, I just can't seem to do that with this paper. I guess I just like too much ink and too much paint, and it was really frustrating me. And it was frustrating me to the point that I actually didn't want to do the project anymore. I was taking my time. No pages came out the way I wanted them to wanted them to look. I had done what everybody else did and went through and put all my tip-ins in, and then realized every week I was tearing them out because I wasn't using them. Because since I wasn't using the planner section, I had plenty of room for the art that I wanted to do for the challenge. And I started to fall farther and farther and farther behind. And I'd come in here and look at the challenges and look at the book and just sort of get frustrated and not exactly know what to do. So I just sort of let things slide, even though I was working on 1 or 2 challenges every once in a while. Last month, in the middle of the month, my friend Amber Button, she's a fellow designer at O Scraps. She designs under the name of Crafty Button Designs. She came over to my house for a play date. And we got out our jelly plates, and we were playing away, and she was asking me where I was in the status of my challenges, because she's doing DLP as well. And I told her, I confessed, I said, I'm really far behind, and I need to find the time to catch up, and I'm really frustrated. She took a look at the old journal, and then was wandering around in my little studio, and she said, well, why don't you use this journal instead? And she was pointed to a basically brand new Dilutions, the smaller size journal, which is the same size as the DLP Moleskine that we were using. And I kind of looked at her like she was a creature from outer space. It's like, what the heck? Why didn't I think of that? I can't believe that I got so hung up on the rules, or the guidelines for the project that I couldn't think outside of the box and just go ahead and do something, my version of the project. And I'm sure that that's what the admins would want us to do. It's totally up to us to interpret the challenges and the project any way we want to. So I set about with my jelly plate after she left. That evening I went in to my studio with my jelly plate, and I jelly plated every single one of these pages, every single one. I just switched colors, and I was using only Punchinella, one piece of Punchinella that I really, really love, and I just did it in as many different ways as I could. And within an hour or so, I had every single page jelly plated, and they were dry by the next day. And then I set about trying to figure out how to incorporate what I did like in my old journal into the new one. I really, really loved my cover for my old journal, and as you can see, I've gone ahead and jelly plated this cardboard cover that comes on this journal. And so my bright idea was to take this cover off of the old journal and just attach it to the new journal. And then I had a really dumb blonde moment as I realized it comes with this rubber band that's attached, and of course I couldn't take this page loose and fit it in here because of the hole in the thing, and how could I get... And then, I worried about that for an hour or two, and then realized I don't know what I'm thinking. Once again, I just went ahead and decided to do my own thing, and I adhered my old cover onto the front couple of pages of this Dilutions journal, and I used some heavy medium, gel medium to do that because I knew it would hold, and I clipped it together and let it dry overnight, and I think it came out looking pretty well. This page was really important to me, as you saw if you watched my first videos, because 2014 was my year of trying to be fearless in what I was doing, and when I was attaching this cover to this new journal, I realized that that's really what I need to be. I need to be fearless. I need to get rid of my fears about doing something that's not in the norm of what that project was, and use the project the way that I wanted to further the kind of art that I wanted to do. But I really needed those challenges to spur me on. So I tried very hard to let go of some of the old stuff. I did go through and pick out some of the pages that I liked, and I'm just going to trash the ones that I don't, or probably I'll rip out the ones I don't and use these pages as, collage sheets or something like that. But I thought I would just kind of share with you my confession that I bet there are other people like me that are struggling at some point in the project, whether it's a lack of mojo or whether the journal just isn't really working for you and you want to be a conformist or whatever it is. But I just wanted to show you that you don't necessarily have to do that. And I took my I don't want to say rebellion, but I took my fearlessness to a couple of other levels. Since I went ahead and jelly plated all of the papers, then I was in the position of having to figure out what pieces of my old journal would look best on the colors that I had chosen for the new journal. And I just decided just to do my own thing. So although I started again and took out, say, my image of my house from week 1, although I did put that at the beginning, and for the first couple of challenges here, you can see that they did go in order. Gosh, I really loved this, and I couldn't bear to throw that away from week 3. Those did start out in order, but I eventually got to a point where the colors I wanted to use didn't really go with the colors on that particular plate. And so I said, well, who in the world said I have to do these pages in order? So I just flipped through the book until I found colors that I liked for any given week's challenge and used that instead. So you'll see here, we go from week 3 to week 6 and week 8. This is the one where you needed to use a flap. Let's see, week 8. Week 8 was add a flap. And since I wasn't using, it was probably adding a flap to your flap. And since I wasn't using the tip ends, this was the way I added my flap. But I go from week 6 and 8, and then I jump around to week 17. This is a birthday card for week 9, 17 and week 9. This is a birthday card my girlfriend Kim sent me that I really loved, that I incorporated into that week's challenge. This was week 17, your favorite shoes, and my favorite shoes are really those porcelain shoes that my favorite aunt in the world, she was like a mother to me. When she passed of ovarian cancer, my uncle gave me a couple of her porcelain shoes to remember her by, her collection, and so I wanted to incorporate that. But as you can see, I just jumped around. This is week 16, and that was to use a food carton or cardboard, and I couldn't figure out how I wanted to do it. This was this side panel of a popsicle box, and I just decided, well, that's really perfect. I'm just going to make it a bookmark. It's not finished yet. There's some journaling on here and some stamping that didn't come out exactly the way I wanted to, but you can see where I was going with this, and eventually I'll finish it. But to me, then I decided, I gave myself permission to just sort of think out of the box. Some pages came out better than others when I tried to take some pieces of my old journal and put them in, and maybe the colors weren't where I wanted them to be. But I really decided to make this whole project an experiment for me. An experiment in trying media I hadn't done before, on trying to do a challenge from start to finish, on doing some techniques I might not have otherwise. This is just a watercolor sketch that I incorporated, and here you can see this is week 22, but this page represents both week 11 and 18. So I just wanted to share with you, in case any of you are sort of struggling with your with doing some of the challenges or how to accomplish them, that it's it's okay to do your own thing. It's okay to take what you can from these challenges and just make them into what you want it to be. You can see here I skipped a whole bunch of pages. I got them marked here. Oh, here's Amber that I mentioned before. Remember the challenge that was week 13 to start your page and then have somebody else finish it, or they start it and you finish it? She had done these pages in my old journal, and she's very special to me, so I wanted to make sure I kept those. I just found a page where the colors kind of worked and then put her images in. Not all the pages are terribly full of stuff. Some of them are rather simple. Here's a piece of a Happy Meal she sent me, which is really beautiful, and the colors just happen to go so well. So I'll find a way to incorporate this into the page. What I find as I go back and look at these is I was trying to catch up, and I did. Can you believe that in a matter of a week, with this new mindset, I'd actually caught up all of the challenges? I think we're in week 27 or 28 now, and I'm completely caught up as of today. There'll be a new post tomorrow, Saturday, but I'm completely caught up. And what allowed me to do that was the freedom to say these pages can be anything that I want them to be. They don't have to be terribly detailed. They just have to be some representation of what I was trying to accomplish. On this one, I wanted to been meaning to get out my sewing machine, and I was going to try that using embroidery thread with my sewing machine, which, by the way, I haven't touched in 30 years. I'm not even sure it remembers me. It's probably considered a vintage nowadays. But instead, I took some wax linen thread and did some hand stitching around, and that's my way of accomplishing that week 21 challenge. So anyway, there you have it. You don't have to do everything in every challenge exactly the way that you read it on the written word. The written word says that you need to do. I'd say give yourself the freedom to make whatever kind of art in whatever medium, in whatever book, sort of makes your heart happy. And give yourself permission to do things differently than the way other people might be doing them. It's okay, and remember that the whole point of this is to create art and to be happy. So there you have it, my true confessions. I'll see you next time.